Hi, my name is James Shepard with ccsalespro.com, and in this mini-series we're talking about how to sell a merchant cash advance. We went through part 1 and part 2, and so in this final video we're going to talk about how much money can you make selling merchant cash advances, and we're also going to be talking a little bit more about the process of how it actually works. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the process, and then we're going to take it all the way through to commission. So you're out there in the field pitching cash advance using the information we provided you in part 1 and 2, and you finally get somebody who's interested. What happens next? Well, there's a very simple, just one-page form that needs to be filled out. Also, with that form, you're going to need to get 6 credit card processing statements. In other words, you're going to need to get their last 6 months of credit card processing statements. Now, many times when we say that to a merchant rep, they think, oh my goodness, I can never get them to even give me 1 statement. How am I going to get them to give me 6? Trust me, it's a lot easier than you think, because when you're trying to sell them merchant services, you're trying to sell them something that they may or may not want. So getting a statement is a little difficult. When you're saying we're going to wire $10,000 to your account 3 to 5 business days from now, trust me, they'll give you the statements. It's not very difficult, okay? So you want to get 6 credit card processing statements. There's a little form that you need to have filled out from, again, this is with any merchant cash advance company you work with, whether it's the one we use or somebody else. You're going to have like a little, very simple document, 1 or 2 pages to fill out, 6 credit card processing statements. Then you send that into the merchant cash advance company. They will respond with, here is what we can offer them for. It's kind of like a pre-approval. Okay, so that's like step 1. So you don't want to get into too much nitty-gritty about the factor rate, the term, and all that with the business owner at the beginning, because they're not really pre-approved yet. It'd be like that's like as a realtor going and selling houses. You got to make sure they have the pre-approval letter before you start talking about the terms and how much this house costs, because they may not even be able to afford it. They may not have the credit for it, etc. Right? So you got to get that kind of pre-approval email back. And that'll say, okay, we can approve them for, about a 10-month cash advance, and we can give them $16,000 or $20,000 or $50,000 or whatever. Now, you take that back to the merchant and say, okay, here's what I can do for you. We can do this and this and this. Then once you work out the details with them there in terms of the factor rate and all that, then at that point, you can go ahead and you'll have a little bit of additional paperwork to submit. It's not really too bad. Have a little more paperwork to submit, send it in, and then at that point, it'll get approved. Okay? Now, throughout this whole process, once you've submitted even this pre-approval information, they have a portal you can log into, and it's really cool. It has like a little bar graph that goes over to the side, actually like this, and you can kind of see the progress throughout, application submitted, approval or underwriting pending or whatever, and you can just see all that right there. It's very simple to see. It's very nice, okay? So with the cash advances, that's how you can, see the progress of it is going to be in a portal, so you can monitor that. Now, what about commission? Well, the commission really varies. There's 2 different types of commission in the industry that you can get. And it really just depends on what program that you join up with as far as which one you can get. Now, by far the most common is one where you get paid a percentage of the total amount of payback. Okay, the total amount that is paid back. So in other words, let's say you have a $10,000 cash advance, and just to make the math easy here, let's say it's a 1.3 factor rate, or 1.4, let's say. So 1.4 factor rate, so you can go back and watch the previous videos to understand that a little bit more. That means the merchant is going to pay back $14,000. Okay, so most merchant cash advance companies will pay you a percentage of that $14,000. Okay, it's really pretty simple. And so you're going to get a certain percentage of that. Now, depending on how, the term of the loan, the credit of the merchant, the amount, all of these things, the factor rate, most importantly, that's what's going to determine how much commission you're going to get. So usually the way that it works is that there's a kind of like a sliding scale between the term of the loan, in other words, how long it's going to take to pay it back, because that's what determines the risk. The shorter the payback period, the less risk there is for the merchant cash advance company. So the longer the term, the less commission you're going to get. And also they look at the factor rate. The higher the factor rate, obviously, the more money is going to be available to make, and so the higher your commission is going to be. So the highest commission is paid on the shortest term with the highest factor rate. Now, obviously, that's not the best thing for the merchant. So you got to be careful about that. You really want to try to go for more of a longer term with a reasonable factor rate. Yeah, you might not make quite as much commission on that deal, but you're going to make your merchant happy and it's going to be a good deal for them, okay? But that's how that works. So, some merchant cash advance companies will do like a 3-month cash advance at 1.4 factor rate. Well, that's ridiculous. That's really high. Now, do they pay good commission? Yeah, because there's virtually no risk for them as far as the payback period is only 3 months, and they're getting 40% interest. So it's a really, really good deal for them. Okay, but you want to really shoot more for that 6 to 10 month term is what I recommend. You can even go to 12 months if they qualify for like what we call a premium advance, and you can still get very good commission rates on that. Usually, you can get anywhere from 3% all the way up to maybe 6%, 7%, sometimes even up to 8%, depending on the factor rate of whatever that amount is. So if the total payback amount was, let's say, $20,000, and you got a 5% advance, that would be a $4,000 commission that you would get on that deal. Okay, so pretty good, pretty good program there. All right. So anyway, on these advances though, you always got to look at your total payback amount, the percentage that you're going to get out of it, and that's kind of how that commission works. Now, the other thing that's important to understand is that commission doesn't pay out in the same way with every cash advance companies. Now, one thing they all have in common is that they all pay the cash advance well after the money has actually been funded to the merchant, to give like a couple days for the merchant to maybe change their mind or whatever, because it's a lot of money. You're normally going to get $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 in commission minimum on these deals, and so the merchant cash advance company, before they pay that to you, they have to make sure that the merchant is solid and they got their money. So don't be surprised if you end up waiting a week or two after the deal is done before you get paid with most companies. The other thing is many companies do split up and they pay part of the money up front and part of it as like a residual. So as they're collecting money from the merchant, they're paying you the rest of it. So I've seen plans that are like 6 and 2. So in other words, you get 6% of the total, loan amount, the total payback amount. You get 6% up front, and then you get another 2% over the life of the advance. My name is James Shepard. I appreciate you taking time to watch these videos. If you have any questions at all, just shoot me an email, james@ccsalespro.com, james@ccsalespro.com. Thanks, and I hope you have a great day today.